In the bustling city of Lagos, Nigeria, the Okafor family lived in a sprawling mansion that overlooked the Atlantic Ocean. The head of the family, Chief Emeka Okafor, was a wealthy businessman known for his ruthless tactics and connections to corrupt government officials. His wife, Nneka, was a beautiful and kind woman who had once believed in the fairy tale of her marriage. Together, they had 3 children, Ada, Chidi, and Ifeoma. Despite the luxurious lifestyle, the Okafor home was a place of constant tension and fear. Chief Emeka had a quick temper and was often violent towards Nneka. The children lived in dread of his outbursts, which seemed to come without warning. Nneka bore the brunt of his abuse, shielding her children as best she could from his wrath. She often had to cover her bruises with makeup and plaster a smile on her face to keep up appearances in their high society. Emeka's business dealings were just as toxic as his temper. He was deeply entrenched in the corrupt practices that plagued the Nigerian government. Bribes, embezzlement, and fraud were everyday matters for him. His wealth grew, but so did the danger that surrounded the family. There were constant threats from rivals and those he had wronged. The children, though young, could sense the evil that permeated their father's world. Nneka found solace in her children. Ada, the eldest, was a bright and empathetic girl who took on a motherly role for her younger siblings. Chidi, though quiet, was observant and protective, often standing between his father and his mother during the worst fights. Ifeoma, the youngest, had a heart full of love and innocence that brought light into the darkest days. Nneka poured all her love and energy into her children, determined that they would not grow up to be like their father. Despite their efforts to stay out of Emeka's way, the children couldn't escape the impact of his actions. One day, government officials raided their home, seizing documents and assets linked to Emeka's illegal dealings. The scandal was all over the news, and Emeka's empire began to crumble. The once untouchable man was now vulnerable, and his fury turned even more violent. During this time, Nneka made a difficult decision. She knew they had to leave. Late one night, while Emeka was out trying to salvage his crumbling empire, Nneka packed bags for herself and her children. With the help of a loyal family driver, they fled to a small village far from Lagos, where Nneka's sister lived. The village was a stark contrast to the life they had known. There were no luxuries, but there was peace. Nneka and her children began to heal, surrounded by the love and support of extended family. For the first time in years, they could breathe without fear. The children started school and made new friends. Nneka found work as a teacher, a job she had once dreamed of before her marriage. Emeka, consumed by his own downfall, made little effort to find them. His attention was focused on trying to reclaim his lost fortune and influence. Meanwhile, Nneka and the children thrived in their new environment. The bond between them grew stronger with each passing day. They leaned on each other, finding strength in their shared experiences and the love that had always bound them together. The years passed, and the children grew into young adults. Ada went on to university, determined to study law and fight against the corruption that had torn her family apart. Chidi developed a passion for engineering, wanting to build and create rather than destroy. Ifeoma, with her heart full of love, decided to become a social worker to help other children who had suffered like she had. Nneka watched her children with pride, knowing that despite the horrors they had endured, they had emerged strong and compassionate. She had given them the best gift she could, the knowledge that love could overcome even the darkest of circumstances. Emeka's name faded from the headlines, his power diminished. In his place, Nneka and her children built a new legacy, one based on love, resilience, and integrity. They knew their journey hadn't been easy, but they also knew that together they could face any challenge that came their way. In the end, it wasn't wealth or status that defined the Okafor family, but the unbreakable bond between a mother and her children. They had survived the storm of abuse and corruption, emerging stronger and more united. Their story was a testament to the enduring power of love and the human spirit's capacity to heal and thrive.